Women of Lamb, I am so excited to talk to you today about some of the things that we're learning about degenerative diseases, how we can protect ourselves, and many other aspects of the evolving story around Alzheimer's disease. So one of the first things I'd like to touch on is caregiving. And one of the things that our group at UCSF, led by Bob Levinson and Virginia Sturm, have found out is that caregiving is very, very difficult. We have learned from studies of caregivers that the burden on people is quite extreme. It's not only financially difficult, but it's also emotionally difficult, and may even, if you don't protect yourself, lead to health problems in your own life and body. So let me say a little bit about one study that was done. Dr. Levinson and his group asked the question, in caregiving, does where the brain degenerates have an influence on how the caregiver does? And I guess not surprisingly, the answer is yes. So if your loved one has a degenerative disease in the frontal lobes that diminishes empathy for you, that leads to bad behaviors, we have learned that you are much more likely as a caregiver to suffer from serious health problems, both psychological and physical. So this is a warning. It says in this caregiving process, you need to think a lot about ways of protecting yourself. I'll come back to that in a minute. Another part of this story, which is a little unexpected, is we asked the question specifically, if the caregiver does have psychological or physical health issues, does this affect the patient? And the answer is also yes. So the more severe the caregiver's health problems are, whether it's a psychiatric mood disorder, anxiety, or whether it's something physical caused by caregiving, the patients do much worse. So if you as a caregiver have problems, your loved one will die sooner, will have more problems in the process of dealing with a degenerative disease. So it's this dyad. The couple is affected by the patient, and the patient is affected by the one who is looking after them. We did a study, and our group, led mostly by our women nurses, Jennifer Merrilees has been in the forefront of this. This is a beautiful study done by Virginia Sturm. What she did is she took caregivers and gave them a simple task. She asked them to take once a week a walk where they focused on awe, on the awe of nature. So this was the assignment: take a walk out in nature, appreciate this world that we live in. What was discovered during this evaluation is the caregivers who take this awe walk, we call it an awe walk, changed in the way they felt. Every parameter that we looked at around mood, anxiety, sense of well-being, appreciation for life increased 6 months after this awe walk had occurred. Very exciting. Another very interesting aspect of this study that Virginia did was she asked caregivers to take a selfie, take a picture of themselves on the walk. And the initial picture is often just focused on the person's own face. After undergoing this awe intervention, the caregivers were much more likely to show not only their face, but the surrounding nature, the world around them that was enriching and nourishing. So it changed the perspective a little bit on our own burden. I think during COVID, we are all in different ways under extreme burdens, whether it's social isolation, whether it's worrying about health of ourselves or our loved ones. This is a very difficult time. And I think these awe walks are just one of the interventions that you all can do to protect your brains. Change a little bit your perspective on how you're doing. Other aspects of this, Jennifer Mariles has looked at transcendental meditation. Caitlin Casaletto has thought extensively about exercise, cognitive enhancement as we go through the middle and later stages of life. And these are all things that are profoundly positive on the brain. Different mechanisms, but they're molecular mechanisms that are extremely positive that happen to our brains that increase our longevity, that also increase our sense of well-being if we protect ourselves. And I urge all of you women who are deep in the battle against Alzheimer's disease and also involved with aging in a healthy way to look after yourselves. This is probably the biggest message that I wanted to convey today. One other brief point that I wanted to make is about air pollution. And this is now added to the risks that we have for not doing well middle and later life. We have had a very positive story around air pollution in the United States. Beginning in the 1990s up to 2016, we saw a steady improvement in our air across the country. Didn't matter where you lived. Every part of the United States had cleaner air. With new climate policies that have started with this political administration, we have seen the reversal of clean air. One area in the United States that has been hit particularly badly has been the Southeast. This is an industrial area where bad air tends to be more prevalent than out here on the West. But what has happened, we think, is that this not only threatens the heart. We have good data. Bad air threatens the heart, threatens the lungs. And at the pollutant level we are right now, again in the Southeast, we know that these things are bad for the heart and the lung, but they're also extremely bad for the brain. Caleb Finch has done a very important study in Los Angeles County, and he showed that if you lived right next to the 110 freeway, you were much more likely to develop Alzheimer's disease than people who live far away from the freeway. The closer you were to that polluting environment, the more likely you were to get Alzheimer's disease. It's not a surprise. The particulate matter that ends up in our lungs can also end up in our brain, and it can probably start the neurodegenerative process. So my major message today to WHAM, and I think you tell this to the world, is you are important individuals. You are involved in the prevention of Alzheimer's movement. Prevent it in yourselves. Live happy, healthy, live happy. And I think you are doing this, and we will keep telling you more and more about the important story of self-help. Thank you.